Hey my loves, welcome back to another video. My name's Lucy, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I used the law of attraction, the power of my mind, to change my physical appearance. In particular, how I used it to go from a bra cup size 32B to a 32C. Now, those of you who are already subscribed to my channel, you will remember that I've already done one video on this. And so this second video is to give you guys some more answers because a lot of questions came through in the comments of original video 1. So if you haven't watched video 1, make sure that you do. I'll put it in the link in the description so that you are totally clued up with the process that I used, and I'll give a very brief overview in this video and I'll really dive into those questions that you were asking. So in brief, I was listening to an Abraham Hicks video one day, and this guy got up on stage in the video and he was sharing a success story, a manifestation success story, where basically he wrote a letter, a hypothetical thank you letter to Abraham, as if all of these things that he wanted to appear in his life had already appeared in his life. He wrote this thank you letter telling her, Abraham, thank you so much. This has happened and I manifested this and I manifested this perfect partner and da-da-da-da-da. And then the exercise that he did was that he, once or twice a day, he would read this letter out loud. I think he did it once a day, but I, in this process, did it twice because I was like, I really want to make this happen. So anyway, so you read the letter out loud to yourself and you feel the words, you read it as if you really are thankful that all of this stuff has happened, even though it hasn't happened yet. So I did that for 30 days. And on this letter, one of the many things that I wrote was that I was so happy and grateful that now my breasts have grown to a 32C. And this was back when they hadn't grown to a 32C, okay? So I read this, like I said, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and it was a little ritual that I had going on. And to be honest, towards the end of the month, I'd got a bit tired of the ritual because I have a very short attention span to these kind of things. But nevertheless, I did stick to it pretty well. And then towards the end of the month, I sort of forgot about this ritual, this process, and I think the letter that I had written to myself that had been sat by my bedside fell off my bedside table. It ended up underneath a few things. I totally forgot about this. I'm sharing these bits of the story because it's going to be relevant to answering the questions later on in this video. I forgot all about it. About 2 months went by. I went to get some new underwear, and the lady at the shop took one look at me and took one look at the bras that I had picked to try on, and she said, "Excuse me, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I don't think that those bras are going to fit you." I said, "What do you mean? I'm a 32B and these are all 32B." And she said, "Are you a 32B though? Do you mind if I check? Have you been measured recently?" So I was like, "Okay, sure, measure me up." I'd actually had a couple of cocktails before this underwear fitting, so I was like, whatever you need to do, I'm good. So anyway, turns out it wasn't embarrassing at all. I didn't have to undress. She just got like her special measurer and confirmed that actually I'm not a 32B anymore, that I'm a 32C now. So at the time, this is the craziest part. When she told me that, I was like, oh, yay, that's nice. I still didn't connect it to that letter that I had written a couple of months ago. And then it wasn't until I got home, and I think I was just tidying up my bedroom, and I found the letter and I was like, oh my God, wait, this is actually, and I was like, yeah, it was actually 32C that I wrote down, and this is the bra that I've bought is now 32C. So totally mind blown. So that is a recap of the story. Now to answer your questions about the story. So my first question that I've got here is Aurora Perrone. Oh, that's a beautiful name. Hey, Aurora. Her question is, "Hi, Lucy. How did you mean detach? I mean, how did you forget you were doing this? For me, it's so difficult not to think about it." Yeah, so this is the sort of, I would say that this is one of the most difficult parts about the law of attraction, is that if you are really obsessing over something and focusing on how it still hasn't come, then you're blocking the law of attraction from working, because the very nature of the law of attraction is that when there is no stress, no resistance in that area of your life, and you're just feeling happy, high vibes, and you're sort of like letting go of any responsibility around that topic, and you're trusting that the universe has heard what you want and is going to sort of move your life in that path so that you manifest that thing, right? So this is like with all areas of the law of attraction, this can be the sticking point for a lot of people. So as you said, Aurora, it's difficult for you not to think about it. I know it can be tricky, but imagine this is part of the exercise, okay? The reason why it's difficult for you not to think about it might be because you don't fully believe that this process would work. If you believed that this process would totally work for you, if you followed the steps, then you wouldn't be obsessing over it. You'd be like, it's done. It's kind of the same as if you go online and you go onto Amazon and you order a product and you add it to your cart and you pay for it and you get the confirmation email, it's done. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to be worrying about it. You don't need to be wondering, oh, is it going to arrive? You just trust that Amazon is going to eventually deliver your product to you. And so much so that it pretty much completely leaves your mind until the doorbell rings. So try and think about it like that this exercise is just as real as if you were to place an order on Amazon for this request that you have. So what might help anyone who's struggling to detach from this is take a look at your life, take a look at other things that you have successfully manifested. And maybe some of you are thinking, but I don't know if I've successfully manifested anything. Trust me, think back to what your life is about now, or some amazing experiences or some really great things that once upon a time was just an idea in your head, was just a wish, was just a goal, was just a daydream of, oh, that would be nice to happen one day. And then boom, you actually did end up traveling to that place, or you actually did end up having that job or studying at that college or university or school, or you actually did end up going out with that person or whatever, right? If it started as that would be nice thought, and now you've actually experienced it, you've manifested that. So this is a fantastic way for you to be able to look back in your track history and remember how you felt about that thing when you were like, that would be nice, but it hadn't yet manifested, okay? And then copy and paste that feeling, that approach towards this new manifestation that you want to have. That is my little life hack to be able to get into the right vibrational place to get this thing to work for you. Next question from Nila Henriquez. Another beautiful name. She says, did you write it on a random piece of paper? I have heard some people having their own journals just for manifesting, and they bless the book and a pen so everything they write comes true if you read it 2 to 3 times a day for 3 to 4 weeks. How do you forget about it? Or did you stop saying it? Or after 3 to 4 weeks, did you leave it somewhere? And did the other things come true? Okay, all of what you've just said there, Nila, will work if you believe that it works. If you get a journal and you say, oh, I'm going to write in an extra special journal and I'm going to bless it, I'm going to give it these superpowers, and I know because somebody told me that if I read it out 2 to 3 times a day for 3 to 4 weeks, I know it will come true, okay? The only part of that, the reason why that works is because you believe that if you do it that way, it will work for you. So that's the main thing. It's about your belief that if you do A, B, C, you're going to get it. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, it's more about the fact that you believe in something, and when you believe it to be true, there's certainty, there's no doubt in your mind, there's no worry, there's no resistance. So to answer your question, I personally did it on a random piece of paper, but that's only because to me it didn't matter whether it was on a random piece of paper or in a journal. Whereas if to you feel like it would be important to have it in a dedicated journal, it's a prop to enable you to get into the right mindset. That's all that any of these law of attraction techniques are. So if you can add power, all you're doing is you're using your mind. The book in front of you is just a tool to help you to get into that right feeling space. Okay, now we have another question again from Nila Henriquez, who is asking, what was the time period between me writing this letter, me going through this process, and the manifestation happening? So as I explained at the beginning of this video, for me personally, it was a couple of months, I think, more or less. The reason why I can't give a specific answer is because I was so not attached, forgotten about it. as they say, set it and forget it, right? So I set the intention and I genuinely forgot about it. If you're asking that question, how long is it going to take? You're in the wrong vibrational place. Because if you're thinking, how long is it going to take? You're focusing on, it's not here yet. I want it to come faster. I really wish I had it. And all of that is focusing on the wrong side of the equation. Your mind, your vibration is in a place where you're focusing on what you don't have. Whereas, to recap, to remind you, that winning formula that clearly worked for me is I was like, I'm really happy and excited, but I'm also not taking this too seriously. If this happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. You know, and then I forgot about it, because this is where it's important with the law of attraction. You got to just be happy with everything the way it is, exactly as you are. All of this stuff is a bonus. It can be so tricky, I know sometimes, particularly when it's an area in your life that you really, 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 really want some change. But what if you focused your time and energy instead on learning to love your boobs and love your body exactly as it is? And then the journey from where you are to where you want to be is from happy to happy, rather than from a sad place where you don't have what you want to this thing that you haven't attained yet. All of that is a negative vibration. Go from happy to happy, and then you're looking in the right place and things will start to move for you. I hope that helps. Next question from Stamatia Kateva. Hi, Stamatia. Stamatia's question is, do I have to say it loudly when I'm reading the letter out because I live with family and I'm a bit embarrassed? Okay, that's a really good question, and thank you for just being so open and honest and telling us this. So first off, I think hopefully you guys are going to start seeing a thread here with my answers, which is that if your ritual includes something that makes you feel uncomfortable, then it ain't going to work as a ritual, because the very purpose of the ritual is to get you into a place where you're feeling really, really good and effortless. So if there are areas of it where it doesn't make you feel really good and effortless, cut those bits out and do it in a way that's going to make you feel really, really good and effortless while you focus on this thing that you want. Okay, that's the point. It's not like you have to follow A, B, and C my way in order for it to definitely work for you. It's about take the parts of what I've done, but the bottom line, most importantly, is how you feel in the process of doing it. That's all it's about. That is it. That's the most important thing, is how you feel about it. So if doing it silently, reading it out in your head makes you feel totally comfortable, effortless, and you can get to that place where you're feeling grateful, you're being playful, you're pretending it's already happened, you're having a great chat with the universe can hear you with or without your mouth, because it's about responding to your vibrations. I mean, you think the universe speaks English and Spanish and Italian and Chinese. The universe speaks vibration, right? So that's when you're reading these words out loud and feeling it and visualizing it and thinking it, you're emitting a vibration that is bringing you on the same track as that actual thing. That's what it's about. That's why somebody could just say the words and be nowhere in line with that thing. It's not about the words, it's about how you feel. Another question that's come through is, do I have to read this out for 30 days? If you feel like this is going to be a chore before you've even got started, then once again, not the right vibration. And if you would prefer to do a ritual that involved just doing it once, forgetting about it and letting it go, and trusting that that's going to work, then choose that option. For me, if I can talk you through how I felt, when I watched that Abraham Hicks video, I was inspired. And I'll link the video below so you can watch it after this one. When I watched that, I was like, this sounds like something that I could do now. And how cool would it be if in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days after doing this, that I could actually find this letter somewhere and realize that I've manifested all of this stuff. Like, how cool would that be? So I was excited to commit to doing this for 30 days. So excited that I thought, let's double it up and let's do it twice a day for 30 days. So if the most important thing to take from that is how I was feeling. I was excited, and I felt like, whoa, yeah, I could see that this formula legitimately works. And the way that it was shared in the video got me into a place where I was like, cool, I'm going to give this a go. So get into that frame of mind right now. If you want to give this a go, get into the cool, okay, this could be a bit of fun, and how cool would it be if it worked? Like, get into that mindset rather than, but what did you, and how long did it take, and do I have to, and the ins and outs. Like, that is wrong vibration for manifestation. Another question that came through was, did all of the other things on the letter come true? The majority of them did. Some of the other things that I wrote on the letter was that I was going to go viral. And in fact, the video about growing my breasts bigger has gone viral much more than my other videos. So that's kind of interesting how two manifestations on one page kind of connected with each other. I also manifested that I was going to be attracting seriously driven, perfectly positive, enthusiastic people into my life to work with, and I definitely have manifested that. Like, I've got business partnerships with millionaire CEOs. Like, business wise, the people that are in my circle have never been better, so I guess that worked. And the final thing that I wrote on my letter was that I will have perfectly defined abs without having to do much more effort, and without having to exercise any more than an amount that I enjoy. So what I did specify was that I would still be exercising. I didn't say, I can just eat hamburgers and I have to find abs. Like, I wrote something in a way where I knew I would believe it. Because if I wrote down, I'm going to eat hamburgers and still get abs, I would be writing it down and not believing it, because my belief that that's possible doesn't really exist. So I do have stronger, more defined abs than ever, actually, and that's been down to the action that I've been putting in. But also, the most important thing that I wrote on that letter is I wouldn't be doing any exercise beyond what I wanted to do. And actually, my mind has been more inspired recently to exercise and to enjoy it and to feel really good and excited about exercising. So that's probably connected, that my mind is in a place where, I'm wanting to do what it takes to get those abs. So if you check out the description below, you'll see that I've actually posted both links. The link to the original video of mine where I talk about my process of how I did this, and also the Abraham Hicks video that inspired me to do this process. So I encourage you, go check both of them out, because that'll really help you to get the full picture. And then have fun with it. Get into that excited mode of, yeah, why not? I'll give this a go. And come and do it and have fun with it. Write whatever you want on there and forget about it. And maybe in 6 months from now, you'll realize that this has all worked out for you and everything on that letter came true. And you can come back to this video, comment below, let me know when these manifestations come. But until then, don't fret about it too much. Don't obsess about it too much. Think of it as a fun game, and no matter what, make sure to be happy now, then, all the time. That's really what's going to get you aligned with everything that you really, really want. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. And I'm always happy to respond to requests. So if you have any requests for videos that I could create for you, comment it below as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Mwah. Bye.